Caliyah was collateral damage.
Eaton County 911, what's the emergency?
I just woke up. My dog woke me up on the couch. I have a 2-year-old and I have a 2-week-old. And my 2-week-old is not in her sleeper. Her passy is on the floor.
She's not in her sleeper?
She's not in her sleeper. She's not here. I've looked everywhere. I've looked under clothes and everything.
What's your address, ma'am?
Yes, lot 31.
Do you think somebody took her, ma'am?
My child said, my 2-year-old said she's gone. And I've looked everywhere in the house, so I don't know another possibility.
What lot number are you at?
31.
Okay. And you said you were sleeping, woke up, and she was gone?
Yes. My 2-year-old came and woke me up.
Okay.
That's how I was sleeping on the couch.
Okay.
Caliyah!
How old is she, ma'am?
2 weeks old.
Okay. And who else would have come in your house?
I mean, as far as I know, nobody would have came in my house. My 2-year-old says Papa, but I called my dad and I called my grandparents and they don't have her.
Okay.
My dad's on the way here now.
Okay. Alright, how long have you been asleep?
The last time I woke up with her was around, I guess 5 maybe.
Okay. So you were asleep since 5 o'clock?
Yes. I didn't even mean to fall asleep on the couch. I sat down for a minute after dealing with her all night.
Entry, or can you tell if someone's been there? Is her blanket there or gone?
Her blanket's gone. Her passy's here on the floor. Her blanket's not with us. I don't know when. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's with her.
Okay.
And I have clothes in totes, but I've looked all in on it. She's not here.
Anything else missing, like a baby bag that you would have, or anything else?
No. Her bottle's here on top of my shelf.
Okay. What about...
No, it's in my bathroom on my vanity. I'm sorry.
Ma'am?
Huh?
What about anything else that could possibly have gone, like, could be hers that could have gone with her?
No. Nothing else. Just her and her blanket.
Okay, so the only thing that's missing is her and her blanket.
Yes.
You didn't talk to the dad or grandma or anybody else?
Her dad was here with me. Dad just left, and he's walking around the park looking for her. Because my 2-year-old just, I asked her, did somebody come in and take her? And she said, yeah, but she's 2, so I don't know if I can believe that or not.
Did you look through everything, like under the bed?
Yes, ma'am.
Bathrooms?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Caliyah!
Alright, what's your name, ma'am?
Cortneybell. Cortneybell.
Just to let you know, Courtney, they've been on the way out there. I'm just getting this information to update them, okay?
Thank you so much.
What's your phone number?
I'm not sure of this number. My phone busted the other day. This is my grandmother's phone. She's been letting me use.
Alright, so you and the dad both were... I'm just trying to get an understanding so I can let them know because of the questions that they're asking me. You and the dad both were sleeping or he just came back home?
No, me and him woke up together. She woke us up together.
Okay, the 2-year-old woke y'all up and told y'all that the baby was gone?
Yes.
Okay.
She was kind of freaked out. I mean, I don't know. Because she was just standing there beside the couch in the corner. And I told her, come here, and I loved on her. And then I told my baby's dad to go check on Caliyah. And then he's talking about she's not in here. She's not in here.
Okay, well, the police should be in the area now.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and let you go, okay?
Thanks.
Her parents wept in court at times as they listened to testimony against them. Prosecution witnesses who portrayed Caliyah McNabb's parents, Chris McNabb and Courtney Bell, as drug abusers in a violent relationship, as if Caliyah was collateral damage. Courtney Bell's own father, Tim Bell, even testified against them. According to prosecutors, Caliyah, born on September 23, 2017, was with her mother in the hospital for 2 days. Courtney was discharged, but Caliyah stayed in the hospital for 2 more days. Courtney and Chris picked up Caliyah on September 27th. On October 1st, Courtney left her infant daughter with a cousin and left, not telling the cousin where she'd be or when she'd be back. On October 3rd, Courtney's father took Caliyah home with him, bringing Caliyah back to Courtney on October 6th. Courtney reported Caliyah missing on October 7th. Caliyah's body was found in some woods near the home the next day, killed from blunt force trauma to her head. The defense insists there's no evidence the parents are the ones who killed Caliyah. No one is disputing that in Caliyah's 15 days of life, she was away from her parents for 8 of those 15 days, plus the day she disappeared. The life and death of Caliyah McNabb.
An autopsy determined that Caliyah died rapidly after sustaining extensive head trauma. Court records stated that McNabb struck Caliyah with an unknown object that caused the victim's skull to be seriously disfigured and damaged beyond repair. Her skull was so damaged that the pathologist who performed the autopsy said her deciduous teeth, those that hadn't yet emerged from the gums, had come out too and were visible.
Her name is probably not familiar, is it? Baby was only 2 weeks. Barely. Father still claims he's innocent, but he's sentenced to life without parole. This is sentencing. And I really like how the judge kind of walks him right on into his own damnation. It's a trick that law enforcement uses trying to get you to fess up. You guys have probably heard of this, where they ask you, if you didn't do it, what do you think the punishment should be for the criminal who did? And that's how they can gauge your innocence. I think the judge was being totally facetious, but man, it's funny. Get ready for attitude.
Since I'm pretty sure by the law states that I have a right to confront my witnesses who accuse me of doing wrong. So I felt like I wanted to say it in front of her since she was the one up here slandering me. And that's all I got to say.
You sure you don't want to talk about the sentencing and all of that? That was the only thing you wanted to tell the court?
I mean, I haven't heard anything about a sentence. I was just commenting on that. I understand
for the charges. And I just wanted to know if you had anything you wanted to say to the court.
I mean, I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say, but I'm not going to be able to say half of it.
I don't know, because I don't know what you're going to say.
I'm innocent. I didn't do it.
Okay.
I've maintained that the whole time. I feel like there was things that were allowed to be said that should have never been allowed to be said that didn't have nothing whatsoever to do with the case and what was being said. Just because somebody has domestic abuse issues with their spouse doesn't mean that they would put their hands on their kids, which has also been pretty much proved that I've never touched my kids in any harmful manner whatsoever. I've never harmed my kids. I didn't even hear anything that said that I had done anything to her in front of the kids. So that doesn't make sense either. And, just to let the record show that I don't think I ever put my hands on her in front of those kids. And I just don't feel like just because somebody has domestic issues with the female in their life that they love, that they were just able to just say, oh, he don't love you and all that stuff just in front of everybody or whatever, which doesn't matter. But I just don't understand how you find somebody guilty of doing something to a 15-day-old baby because there was no evidence whatsoever that proved anything about me putting my hands on my kids. I've never done it. I never would. I don't believe in it. I was beat as a child, and I don't agree with it at all. And I would never do it. I would never do this. That's all I got to say. I would never do it. I'm innocent.
Well, I can make a lot of comments on what you said. I can make a lot of comments on the trial, but I know that was just be arguing with you or talking with you. I'll ask you one simple question. You claim you're innocent, so you tell me what sentence the man or woman that you claim did this should receive.
If you ever find out who did them, they deserve to be under the jail.
Okay. So they ought to get the maximum sentence.
Most definitely.
Okay. On the crime of malice murder, I sentence you to life in confinement without parole. On concealing the death of another, I sentence you to 10 years of confinement, consecutive or after. Count one. Do you understand each of your sentences?
Yes, sir.
We're going to look at the sentencing for Mommy. What I love the most about this is that Mommy didn't necessarily murder anybody. And the judge makes it clear that he understands that. But he also makes it extremely clear she's not innocent.
Let's turn now to a sentencing hearing on Ms. Bell. Does the state have any evidence it wishes to offer in aggravation?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Bell's crimes, as found by the jury to be guilty, were more of her being a willing victim, and that spilled over into what happened as to her children. It's terrible, and it's extremely sad that that happened, but I don't think that, and obviously she was not charged to the level that Mr. McNabb was, and I would just ask the court to take those factors. She didn't have the opportunity of having an upbringing, as I think I discussed in my closing. She had no role models for that. She was suffering from addiction and abuse, and should she have done something? Yes, she should have. She didn't, and that's what led her here. And but I think that there's through courses, coping mechanisms, things that she might learn through prison classes and afterwards, there would certainly be the possibility of her being someone who could be a productive member of society if she were to embrace some of those things and put them to use in her life. So we would ask the court to take those into consideration. Thank you.
Does your client wish to make any statements?
I didn't do this. Y'all know I didn't do this.
Well, you and I had a conversation
We did.
back in chambers on Wednesday, remember, morning? And at the time I told you there's a difference between the reality of the situation and what you think. I explained to you exactly why you were being charged with the crimes. It wasn't that you knew about the murder, it wasn't that you anticipated the murder, it wasn't that you planned the murder, any of those things. It was simply that you created an environment that caused your children to be put second and Mr. McNabb to be put first. Well, your whole claim is I took him back because I wanted to have a family. In that analogy the state used, it's just kind of like saying your child's dead from a rattlesnake bite. Why would you put it in there? And you responded, well, I just wanted her to enjoy nature, have an appreciation of the outdoors, without appreciating the danger. Now, I'm sorry, but for you to go around chasing McNabb, doing meth, flies in the face of what any normal mother would do. We hear stories out in society, I mean, out everywhere. The mother bear, they're so ferocious. Why? Because you're messing with their child. All those kind of things. And you chose methamphetamine and McNabb over a baby.
It's a sickness, but I tried to be a good mama. I love my babies.
The problem, Miss McNabb, is that, like most criminals, you have this version of what a good mama is that is so far from the norm that, you know, you go anywhere in this county, talk to anybody who's watching this and say, is it a good mama who doesn't even care about her 14-year-old baby? Put them with a cousin. I know of instances where mamas won't even let in the first couple of weeks of a child's life people around the child for fear that the child's immune system hadn't been built up and they don't want germs brought into the child. They go to that extent. You went just the exact opposite direction. And there's just no excuse for that. On count, well, let's talk about this. Count 2 merges with count 1.
Yes, Judge.
What's the thought about count 3?
I think it's fine, Judge. It does not merge.
Okay. On count 1, I'm going to sentence you with 30 years, with the first 15 years to be served in confinement in the state penitentiary, the remaining time on probation. On count 3, I'm going to sentence you to 10 years in confinement and run at the same time as count 1. Now, do you understand your 2 sentences? Let the record reflect she's nodding her head slightly yes. And Ms. Bell, I'm going to give you the following rights that you have. Within 30 days, you have a right to appeal this case to the appellate level. You may start that process with a motion for new trial, which I'm going to direct the attorneys to file, just that skeleton general motion.
Yes, sir.
If at the time you decide, Ms. Bell, you can allege that your attorneys did an ineffective job. They just didn't do a good job. It has to be brought up at its earliest moment. The attorneys do not get their feelings hurt if you choose to do that. And we would appoint a conflict attorney to come in and take over the appeal. Do you understand me clearly about that? I need you to stand up first off. I need you to start verbalizing.
I understand.
Okay, because she's making a record on all this. It all has to be taken down. I'm also going to advise you that if the case is appealed to the appellate level and the appellate level affirms that case in the verdict and sends it back down for the service of the sentence, you have 4 years from the date it comes back down to file what is known as a writ of habeas corpus. That means I'm being illegally detained unconstitutionally, and I want my body out of jail. But it has to be done. It's a time-sensitive thing, and you only have 4 years to do that. You understand that clearly? Now, do you have any other questions? Okay, take her on. Yes, ma'am.
Maximum count 3 is 5.
Damn right. First and foremost, it's your responsibility. As a mom, we bring them into this world. Yes, their fathers are completely accountable too, but damn it, we bring them into this world. How dare you?
But the Court of Appeals of Georgia has overturned the murder conviction of a mother in the 2017 death of her newborn daughter, reasoning that the evidence was insufficient for a jury to find her guilty of second-degree murder and second-degree cruelty to children. The 3-judge panel, however, upheld Courtney Bell's conviction on the felony charge of contributing to the dependency of a minor. So initially, the trial judge sentenced Bell to serve 30 years on the merged murder and child cruelty charges, with 15 years to be served in prison and 15 years on probation. On the contributing to dependency of a minor charge, the court sentenced Bell to 10 years in prison to be served concurrent with the murder sentence. After viewing the evidence in the light most favorable to the prosecution, however, the appellate court found that a rational juror could not have found that Bell committed the elements essential to prove murder beyond a reasonable doubt. Specifically, the court reasoned that her actions could not be seen as causing Caliyah cruel and excessively physical pain through the infliction upon her of blunt force trauma to her head, as was stated in her indictment. Basically, she could be negligent, but she didn't actually bust the baby in the head, so that wasn't her fault. There was no evidence presented that Bell directly caused the victim cruel and excessive pain by inflicting blunt force trauma to her head, caused someone else to commit the act, aided or abetted in the act, or that she advised, encouraged, hired, counseled, or procured someone to commit the act, the appellate court wrote in the 39-page ruling. There was nothing to exclude the reasonable possibility that she was asleep when the victim was taken from the home and or killed, and there was nothing in her actions before, during, or after the victim's disappearance and death from which the jury could make such an inference. In upholding the felony contributing to a minor charge, the court agreed that there was evidence Bell's conduct in the days leading up to Caliyah's death, such as doing meth and leaving the children around a volatile McNabb, played a substantial part in her death, and that death was a reasonable probable consequence of that neglect. Now, is that not the same damn thing? I'm sorry, maybe I'm just too intelligent, because is that not the same thing that the judge basically said? You're indirectly responsible. Anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox, because that really kind of pissed me off. Justice for Caliyah McNabb. Rest in peace, baby girl. And I'll see you in the comments, beautiful people.